Welcome to the after party. Welcome to the after party. Did you bring some snacks and treats?
Yes, it did.
I hope you got me something to eat.
Maybe.
Welcome to the after party. Coming to the after party.
Right now.
I've been waiting here all day to act like a fool this way. Welcome to the after party. Join us in the after party.
Right now.
Oh, chocolate and gabbing, maybe some microphone gabbing at the after party.
With DJ Eric,
Pagey and breakfast. So I think you're having breakfast, correct?
Well,
Or early lunch.
it's definitely around breakfast time, but I wouldn't call what I'm eating breakfast. It's just
All
something
right,
out in the.
What are
Just
you
something out in the
having? What are
fridge.
you dining on this AM?
Pasta bolognese.
Great breakfast. Great breakfast there.
I'm Italian today.
All right, so
I think this is what
Was that-
Italians have for breakfast.
oh, is it? Okay. Yeah, that's not completely stereotypical.
That or gelato, one of the two.
So hello everyone. We were not going to be doing the after party today. Originally the after party was going to be tomorrow, and today was going to be a watch along for Legends of Tomorrow's finale from last season. However, for some reason, it's not consistently on Netflix for everyone. I think a couple of people said it was on their Netflix, but for the majority of the world, I guess it's not on Netflix yet. So that made it pretty much impossible to do what we wanted to do, because we were going to do this, but we were going to have like a bar at the bottom so you could see where the episode was. We'd be watching it with everyone, and then you'd be able to see our reaction to the episode, because I haven't seen it yet. So that was the intention. And then the after party 4.0 was going to start tomorrow. But here we are. Did Gary predict it? So there we go. Grant, this is a nice statement. I don't see this very often between the people that troll me and the ones who just say random things, I guess. Admire your consistent, how authentic you are. Your work and your creativity is an unseen. What do you give your thank you? I appreciate it, Grant. Thank you so much. What a great way to start out a completely like I honestly had no idea what we were going to be talking about, because I thought we'd be waiting for like Batwoman to premiere, and then tomorrow we talk about that, and then maybe joke about Legends a little bit since we'll be watching the finale. But so I was like, I guess we'll talk about Stargirl. Maybe I'll rant about Supergirl again and say the same things I've been saying for the last 4 weeks. But did want to talk a little bit about some of the pictures on Twitter. We have some stuff from Themyscira Bound, some Canada Graph photos, and some stuff from Entertainment Weekly, and talk a little bit about Fandom, because that's coming up this weekend, which I'm pretty excited about, because we should get a lot of stuff. I was kind of worried we weren't going to have anything, but it seems like there's quite a few things that they can. What are you looking forward to from Fandom this weekend? Anything in particular?
Probably definitely the Flash movie. Well, the thing is, if you look at the thing, like it's much less than last year,
Yeah.
which is surprising considering they weren't able to film anything last year for it. Like it really, when you look at what they're announcing or what they're showing, it's really odd. Like even like I saw the thing. I got another email this morning about it. Let me quickly bring it up just so I have a reference point. And it's sort of surprising. I was like, oh, it's just like what is it? It's a new trailer for the Batman, new content from DC League of Super Pets. This isn't like a first look because there wasn't any content anyway. A first look at Black Adam and the Flash movies, a behind the scenes look at Aquaman 2 and Shazam 2, and then other exclusive sneak peeks at future new seasons of sneak peek features of new seasons of Batwoman, The Flash, Superman, Lois, and the new animated movie Injustice, which is already out. And then there's a Supergirl farewell tribute, and then game trailers for Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad. So really, when you compare that to last year, there's not that much.
Yeah, and you said
makes me wonder whether it's worth
4 hours total, right? Like just
it makes me wonder whether it's even worth doing.
Yeah. Do you think they would have trended better if they would have just done like a couple of days, release this trailer, a couple of days, release that trailer? Like, do you think that would have been better for them? Or
the only thing is that like it's cool because if we didn't get this, if this wasn't on, we probably wouldn't get looks at specifically probably Flash, Aquaman, and Shazam for another few months. Black Adam, they might release it sometime over the next couple of months. But they've held off on this Batman trailer, I think, because of fandom.
Right.
Like I think this Batman trailer would have come out a couple of months ago, maybe like a month ago. But yeah, it's like it just feels weird. Like I think it's still somewhat worth doing, but it's not like you look at the content and go, okay, this makes sense why they had to do this this year.
You know what's interesting is there's a lot of stuff being previewed at Fandom this year that was previewed at Fandom last year. This still hasn't come out yet because of the delays because of COVID.
Yeah.
Right. Because we know that we're getting another preview of Black Adam, which was also previewed at very lightly previewed at Fandom last year. But there's just a lot of stuff that we're getting sort of a second look at. It's not even a first look. It's like a second look at it before it comes out. I am pretty excited about it, but I'll be honest with you. When you told me earlier that, because I was waiting for them to release like the schedule, that it's just going to be a 4-hour stream. Of course, we'll be live here, or at least I will. I don't know if Paige, because it's going to be early in the day for you, right? Because it starts at 1 o'clock, like Eastern time, I think, or something like that. Or is it?
What time is it there now?
It is 5:42 p.m.
So I'll be starting at 4 a.m. my time.
Okay, so yeah, that would be really early for you. So I will try and be live for the duration of Fandom. My intention is to be here streaming, and Paige can join when he wants, or if Ben wants to jump in as well. Probably do that. Maybe my brother will show up. We'll see.
How it goes. Ben's making a shrine to watch the Supergirl farewells video thing. He's got a lot of tissues prepared. You can argue for what reason. And yeah, so it might be too emotional.
Yeah, we'll see. I'd love to catch that raw emotion on camera. That would be great. So excited for that. I will be live streaming. Don't know if I'll be live streaming the whole thing, but just look for the updates on my channel here. If you don't have the bell turned on, go ahead and do that, because there's no telling how. I mean, it may be a complete mess. We don't know what it's going to be yet with Fandom. So just to be sure, make sure you have all that set up or whatever. Let's see. What's next on the agenda? I do want to talk a little bit about some of the updates to my content in November, but we'll save that for the end because I have more information on the shows that are coming up. So we'll talk about that. I guess we could talk about this because it's not really related to live action, but we can briefly talk about this. Thoughts on Dean Cain's comments on he's not gay, he's bisexual.
Did you see that thread where everyone was blowing up about it?
What?
Because one of the, I think it might have been like New York Times or something, said it was gay Superman, and then it was just this massive. Oh God!
Well, yeah, because it's a distinction.
There is a distinction.
Listed as bisexual,
it just ended up in this fight between it. It was like it's pretty.
No problem, Lord Genome. I understood. I just wanted to make that clear for everybody else because I know it's been sort of a little divisive situation with all that. The backlash for the release of this, I expected it because as soon as I saw it, I'm like, okay, there's going to be people that are going to talk about it. There's been people commenting on it that literally know nothing about what this is. They're like, oh, Clark Kent's always loved Lois Lane. And I'm like, it's not even Clark Kent. Like, people that are commenting on it are that goes to show that it's not even about the character in the comics. They're literally virtue signaling. And they're doing it for the opposite group. Like they're like, oh, I'm going to virtue signal in the opposite direction. I don't know if there's a word for that or whatever. For the people who don't like progressive stories and progressive characters, but they don't even know the character they're talking about. That's how bad it is. Like, and they're talking about how Hollywood is influencing it. This has nothing to do with Hollywood. This is comic book writers. And the character that has been introduced as coming out on National Coming Out Day, by the way, is Superman's son. It's not even Clark Kent. So, like, literally, the articles that I was seeing and all the pushback that I was seeing was just kind of ridiculous, honestly. And people are like, "Oh, why did they have to change everything?" Well, it was National Coming Out Day, so they felt that was the appropriate time to have him come out as being.
Well, I saw a lot of debate around that, even from like I think the LGBT community was like, would they ever have just made this announcement just on a normal day?
Well, I wonder if they decided to do it and it was so close to that date.
It was so
that's
close.
Why they did it.
Yeah, I think I saw the conversation online. It was just like from a general thread, and it wasn't like any sort of like it wasn't a malicious thread or anything like that. They were just saying like, I think
because here's the deal: if they would have released that a week before National Coming Out Day, people would have been like, "Oh, it would have been so cool if they would have waited till National Coming Out Day." So you're never going to make everyone happy. Like, there's always going to be people to be upset. The point is that it's not Clark Kent; it is his son. This is a new progressive take on Superman without affecting the other Superman, which is probably why they decided to do it, because they're like, we can make this change now because this character is so new compared to Clark Kent.
Well, it's also because he has the limelight. Like, he is currently in that Superman mantle,
right?
And obviously Clark Kent's going to go back into it. They'll make Clark and Superman again.
Yeah,
and well, I think he is anyway. This is just this story. He's the Superman.
Exactly.
And obviously this series will end.
And as far as Dean Cain goes, it's his opinion. I'm not a huge Dean Cain fan. Opinions that people have about stuff, and I've said this even about reviews and things like that. It's fun to discuss them, but if you don't agree with somebody, then that's fine. You don't have to agree with them. It's just unfortunate that you have someone who actually was Clark Kent, kind of stirring the pot on this in sort of a negative way. Because he is a lot of people's, I don't know how he could be, but he's a lot of people's favorite version of that character. I still don't, it's opinions, right? Anyway, but if you look, Dean Cain has been slowly, I guess, I don't want to say pushed out, but between being sort of not included and, also making himself less connected, it's pretty clear that his idea of what Superman and the super family should be is very different from what DC and the shows and stuff want to do. So I thought it was kind of cool. I'm like, this is a different version. Like, I don't want Superman's son to be a carbon copy of Superman, because then what is the point of passing the mantle on to someone else? So making him different in a unique way makes him a different character, which is something we don't always see when these characters pass their mantles on to another character. So I'm okay with it. If you don't like this version, then I'm sure there's a million more Clark Kent stories out there. You can go back and read all the classic comics. I've said this about just about every update to a character. This doesn't erase what existed before. So if you have a problem with it, go back and read the older stuff. That's pretty much just the way it is. Do you have any thoughts on this at all about the Superman controversy, I guess?
I mean, let's be honest, 99.9, if not 100% of the people that were complaining wouldn't have touched that series. So you're not reading it, so who cares? And
right. And the thing is, if you were something you weren't supporting to begin with.
Yeah. The thing is, like, how many people do you think were reading the John Kent Superman arc? Like, right. It's just its own little thing. It's not. It's Superboy. It's like, I guess when he goes back to being Superboy, he'll be bi as well.
Yeah.
Oh well, like I don't know, because I haven't read this thing. Is it in the future?
Oh, I didn't even know it was out yet. I thought it was upcoming. I didn't realize it was.
No, but I mean, like, is the storyline in the future? Because if he's Superman,
I think it's supposed to be, yes.
Yeah. So, well, I guess if he's Superboy, maybe they hinted it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, if you don't, I highly doubt. Yeah, like even close to the majority were even reading the series. So
yeah,
if you don't watch it, why do you care? We don't read it. Sorry, why do you care?
The other thing is that that with these characters and these Elseworld stories, it's like people want to gatekeep on what they can consider to be okay or all right for you to tell with a different character. Like, oh, you can't tell that story, but I want to see this with this, that, and the other. And it's a lot of the like basically writing your own stories in your mind, and you don't want to have anybody be creative with it. If it works, they'll continue to use it. If it doesn't work, but they're still confident that it will, they'll continue to try it. And if it doesn't work, they'll just try something else. I mean,
okay, so like, what's a character like you know, but you like never really read the character in the comics and don't really care too much about?
you just you're asking me like in general?
Yeah.
Let me think. A character that I know of. So I know a little bit about everyone. I would say probably, you know, a character I don't know a lot about, Spawn. I don't read any Spawn comics. I just know the baseline story for Spawn.
Okay,
that's it.
So Spawn, don't really care, you know, whatever, you don't really care. All of a sudden, he's a pedophile in the comics. So
there we go, demonetized.
You don't care. You don't care. You know, there's controversy. You're against it. You're against it, but you're not gonna care, you know, you're completely against it.
Yeah.
There you go. Here's the whole thing. You don't read it, so you don't care.
I wouldn't care. But the thing is though, that a lot of people that are piggybacking on this story are doing it to catch a headline. They want to be in the headlines. So there's a lot of people like speaking out about it that are in the headlines.
Even the thing was trending. It was trending for 3 days. Was it 3 days? When did the thing come out? Was it Monday or Tuesday?
It was Monday, I believe.
So about 2 or 3 days, Louise Lane was trending for like 2 or 3 days because it kept getting brought up again.
Yeah. I don't know.
Should that just highlight not only like I don't know.
Yeah.
Can we get an Eric freestyle rap in dedication?
We cannot at all.
All of this.
I will say this: I'm excited to see where the story goes. I think this is a good way to include representation without doing what so many people complain about, which is change the backstory of a classically known character. So they're doing something different with a moderately new character, and they're trying something that feels good, in my opinion. I think it's a nice take on such a character that's so visible to the world. I mean, they may end up using this version of Superman in another way in live action down the road. I don't think they're thinking about that right now. But you know, we'll see how the series pans out. So,
well, no, there's people in the chat talking about like on Superman and Lois, whether they shifted to John, and it's really up to the actor. If the actor's not comfortable, then no.
Yeah, they're not gonna. I can guarantee you, they will never force. Do you realize how bad it would be if they forced people into romantic relationships on the show that they didn't?
And forced it against, like, if he's just straight and he has like. It's
well, I mean, in general, if they were forcing Candace and Barry to be together in a way that made either of them uncomfortable, it would be just bad. It doesn't even matter
there's been examples of that on other shows where then it's caused other controversies because then there becomes like this distaste between the actors because they're being like, I don't know, like forced upon each other, if you want to call it. So
yeah,
they're not going to force that. But then, like, there was an interview, like people tried to cancel him.
I saw the interview and I saw what he said. Let's be clear here, though.
Obviously, not a surprise who started putting it out there.
Who was it?
Certain sector of the Supergirl fan.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, look. This is the way I feel about it. Is as an actor, especially someone who's young in the industry, he doesn't know the exact stuff to say. Like, he doesn't know how to respond to everything.
And his response is actually it was fine.
But not only that, it was like brand new. Like, he got this, he was, I don't think that he was given this information very much ahead of time. I think he probably found out around the same time that everybody else found out about it. But it's pretty clear that version from the comics is not the same as the one that's on the TV show. They're very different characters.
Jordan technically is more, you know.
Yes, Jordan is more like Jonathan from the comics than Jonathan is. So we'll see how that story pans out. It's not even in my mind right now. But yes, his wording was unfortunate. And I think had he had time to think about what he said and talk to one of his PR people, he probably could have expressed himself without coming off somewhat offensive. And we'll see where it goes from there. It was worded poorly. He's probably going to come out and say something about it later on once he's had time to sit down and think about it and maybe be educated a little bit in the situation. Because I think a lot of it also has to do with just not understanding the community or the people around. And I think everybody deserves an opportunity to be educated if they say something awful. It's his first time, in my opinion, where he said something where I've been like, that probably wasn't the best. So I'm willing to give him a shot to make a difference in it. And to be honest, if a character on a show is put into a relationship that feels forced, people would be complaining about it no matter who it is. If you see an actor and another actor in a on-screen relationship and it's not working, it is very obvious that it's not working. It's happened on shows before, and we've talked about it before. So there we go.
Is this a Cupid Stupid subtweet?
It could be absolutely. So Tactless Rhyme with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Popping in the chat to say hello. Hello, Tactless Rhyme. How are you doing? We just spoke the other day on Twitter. Hope you're having a great week. So there was another super chat here. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I have a pages pick before we jump into the
yeah, sure.
The main
Staggerforth, the 49 super chat. Is the after party moving to Thursdays now that we have Arrowverse on Wednesdays? Yes, it was actually supposed to move this week. We were going to do it tomorrow, but now that's not going to happen because of the Legends issue with today. It was a big mix-up. Basically, next Thursday, the after party will be then, and Wednesdays will not be because Batwoman and Legends comes out. So the after party is moving a day. We really don't have much of a choice because then it would be like the middle party because it would be between Arrowverse shows. So
the middle party, eh?
Yeah, the mid party. That's not speaking to the quality of the podcast, by the way.
Oh, maybe some ways it is.
Maybe. Nico here with a $5 super chat. Are you guys worried about the ISDS strike on Monday? There's not much we can do about it. I mean, I don't tend not to worry about.
I read somewhere where it's just American, like isn't it just in America?
I don't know. I saw that they were still in talks about it and that they were planning on striking, but it's one of those things where unless you're part of this group or you're part of the group they're talking to, there's really nothing you can do about it. It's like being worried if it's going to rain. I mean, it's nothing you can do about it, honestly. I will say this. It is unfortunate, the timing of this, because we're in a situation where Hollywood is already like just now rebounding from COVID, and this is going to affect the union and the studios. It's going to affect both of them, most likely, at least short term, negatively. What it's going to do long term, we don't know. But I will say that I think that everyone on set, whether you're a camera person, whether you're someone doing the catering, you deserve to be treated fairly and paid fairly for the work that you're doing. And if that is, because that's what I've read this is about, if that is in fact what they're going to the table with, then I think they should absolutely get what they're asking for. I think the problem is that Hollywood is saying we're still recovering from COVID. I don't know the details of we don't have the bank information for these studios, so we don't know what their budgets are and how they allot their money or whatever. But I will say I find it a little hard to believe they can't adjust their payments for people working on set, which I think is what is happening here. So we'll see where it's going. Everybody deserves to be paid fairly for their work. And I will imagine that the people on set doing this stuff, it's not easy. I'm guessing their job is pretty difficult dealing with everything they're dealing with. And just as much as the actors and the directors and everybody involved with it, they work these long, stressful hours, and they probably get paid a fraction of the money that everyone else on set gets. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that's probably the situation. So anyway, any thoughts on this from you? I mean, did you find out if it's just America or not?
I didn't look. I heard it like a week ago.
I think that they will resolve something. They can't afford not to, so something will change because they can't afford not to do that. But thank you for the super chat. Was there another one here, or was that last one? I think it's the last one. All right. I guess we should go ahead and do. Oh yeah, Cody. I didn't even think about this. The cool thing to moving to Thursdays is being able to add the Maxers. Yeah, we could talk about about Titans and Doom Patrol if you guys want on Thursdays now. I didn't even think about that. It's a good point. What? Are you not caught up on either of those?
Well, I'm actually ahead on Titans. I've already watched the episode.
Oh, that's right. We had a conversation about this. You've already seen the end of the season.
No, I'm going to watch the finale like sometime.
But
after
you
this, probably
have it in front of you.
I have
ready
it
to go.
sitting. It's sitting on my little screeners thing. I've watched the second last episode, which comes out later today. I have feelings it's not going to end well.
Don't spoil it here.
I'm not
Put out
going
a
to
video.
spoil it, but I must say, Titans had a really good start.
It did. The first 3 episodes were
but
phenomenal.
it just dropped off, and like it didn't drop off terrible. Like I've still somewhat enjoyed the majority. The only episode I've gone, oh, I really didn't like this episode was the Underworld episode, or whatever it is, the Afterlife episode.
That
I
was
just thought
awful.
It ruined the
that
pacing.
episode.
I think it
Well,
actually
not only that, but it came on the same week when Doom Patrol did a Underworld episode, and Doom Patrol's was better.
Yeah, and I think it's when I look back at this season of Titans, I look at that episode and go, that reminds me of the musical episode in season 3 of The Flash. Obviously, completely different episodes, but in regards to ruining momentum, because the thing is that massive thing happens in the episode before, and then all of a sudden in this Afterlife episode.
Do you guys want my rant about Titans? My quick rant before we do Paige's pick, because we'll do Paige's pick next.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I did a video about 2 weeks ago about how I felt like Titans was a bait and switch Bat Family show, and I still stand by that video. I do believe that it is.
Wait until you watch these last episodes.
I'm not going to spoil any. This is not I'm not going to spoil details of the season, right? Don't worry about it. No spoilers yet. But I will say that I don't know if it was a COVID thing or a budget thing, but the show was moved to Gotham and features so much Gotham stuff, I believe is a money-saving storyline, because the rest of the Titans are, with the exception of Starfire, are pretty much supporting characters to Dick Grayson and the Bat story. They're almost all supporting characters. Why is Beast Boy, we're 3 seasons in now, why is Beast Boy still unable to use his powers properly?
I can say in this episode today, they start to develop that. He does, this isn't a spoiler, he transforms into another animal that we haven't seen him do before.
Right.
And they
explain, Beast Boy. I hope he does.
And they explain where his shape-shifting ability, and it looks good as well. I was actually it's probably the best CGI Titans has done. It actually looks really good when he shifts. Once again, I won't spoil what he changes into, but they sort of explain how he was able to change into that new animal, if that makes sense. Which then I'm sure is going to lead into, I don't know if he transforms again in the finale. Haven't watched it yet. Watch it straight after this, pretty much. But I think it'll lead into next season.
I will say this though: 3 seasons in, it's been too long. It's been too long, in my opinion. Whatever they're establishing now should have been established last season, because he is a main character in the Titans team, and he's been getting very little. Raven wasn't even seen until what, episode 7, something like that.
It's 9.
And my theory on that is because she grew up so much between seasons that they didn't want us to see that interaction until she came back from the mascara. Because if you go back to season 1, she's very young, and now clearly she's much, much older, and it's only supposed to have been a very short amount of time between the seasons. Also, the fact that Superboy, I want to spoil an episode so badly from last week, but I'm biting my tongue. Should I just do it? Should I just spoil it? Chat, should I just spoil it? I'm going to ask the chat. I really want to rant about this because it really, really annoys me, and it's actually very important to my problem with this season of Titans, because I feel like it just goes to show the bigger problem with the Bat family in general.
Are you talking about the dust situation?
Yes, yeah, but I want to rant about it specifically. Okay, so I won't give the context, but there's a scene where Dick and Superboy are in a little room where there's like computers and stuff, and they're waiting to get a message.
Control center or something.
Yeah, they're waiting to get a message. I don't want to say from who it is either. So anyway, they're in this room, and Scarecrow and Red Hood want for Dick to come meet them at a location, right? And Dick is like, okay, I'm going to do it anyway, even though he knows it's a trap. And even Superboy, who's naive as hell, says it's a trap. He knows it's a trap. this is where the whole Batman, Bruce Wayne, Nightwing thing gets under my skin. If Scarecrow and Red Hood are planning on trapping you, and you have Superboy at your disposal, who's been shown to move at super speed and is pretty much invulnerable to anything that Scarecrow and Red Hood could do, would you not send Superboy in to take care of this like that? He could go in and knock them out, go in and pull them out of the building, go in and do anything without pretty much any fear of anything happening to him, right? Completely unable to do that or whatnot. Or would you knock him out with kryptonite, knock out his dog with kryptonite, so they're both unconscious while you go into the building and risk your life to face off against them because of your ego? It's this whole Bat family thing. Everything is so effing edgy with them. It doesn't make any sense. They're supposed to be the smartest characters. Batman is supposed to be one of the smartest characters. Nightwing is supposed to be also a very, very smart character. Why would you even introduce kryptonite into the scenario? Why would you even do so? That was going on in the back of his mind instead of trying to find out what the two of them do. So
apparently there's a deleted scene that gives context to why he did that. Apparently he gets hit by the fear toxin.
Who does?
Dick.
Why didn't they show that?
I don't know, but they deleted it. Apparently, I read that on Twitter because there's people like obviously complaining about the scene, and
that scene didn't make any sense. You have your most powerful character who could have eliminated this in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, but
they want to push the Bat family. They want this show so desperately to be a Bat family show that they're willing to sideline the other characters.
Yeah, the thing is that I would be very, very surprised if they stay in Gotham based off how the finale's lining up. I don't know why they would stay in Gotham. Like, it makes no sense for them to. So hopefully they either go back to San Francisco, where they should never have left. Hopefully they just go back there, or
that's another good point. Kryptonite acted like a knockout substance versus a painful one for him. Like, I guess in the Titans universe, kryptonite puts him to sleep.
The only thing I will say is, because I'm 99% sure based off the episode today I watched, that she's not going to be a villain. Blackfire. They said she was going to be the villain. I swear to God, they said that she was meant to be the villain.
She hasn't really been a villain the whole season.
She's just been a side Titans member, or like an ally, somewhat ally that's just there. Once again, have no idea if that's meant to be set up for season 4. But it's not like something happens this week that could have made her into a villain, but nothing happens from memory. I can't remember.
So I'm going to say this, and I see like E. Clark, a couple people are talking about this. The reason why Batman villains work so well in Batman's world is because Batman is not a metahuman. He doesn't have superpowers. All of his villains are designed to face off against a person who has to use tactical advantages to beat them. That is why Batman is so revered as being this everyday person, which he's not really, but an everyday person who is able to take on street level villains, right? Almost every single Batman villain, with the exception of a very few, could be defeated by any member of the Titans with very little trouble at all. It's been established that Batman has literally left Joker alive because he just does. So for the Titans to be facing off against Scarecrow, a character who is clearly not powerful enough to fight any of the other established Titans, Donna or Superboy or Starfire before what happened to her, even now I think she could beat him. Beast Boy, any of these characters could probably beat Scarecrow and Red Hood, but for some reason they're still a threat. Not to mention the fact that Red Hood made 2 social media videos in Gotham, a city that is known for having villains that manipulate the public, saying that he's a good guy and Nightwing is a bad guy. And after 2 videos, the entire city turns on Nightwing. That doesn't make any effing sense either. Why would the city believe someone in Gotham, a city where they've got the worst criminals in the world who always manipulate them. Why would they believe someone like Red Hood, who, by the way, hasn't done anything at this point in the season? What has Red Hood done in the city to establish him as being a hero versus Nightwing, who has done stuff for decades? What has Red Hood done? Nothing. Red Hood has done zero. There's nothing that he's done. He hasn't arrested criminals. He hasn't stopped anybody. He hasn't done anything heroic. He just made 2 videos saying that he's a good guy and that Nightwing is a bad guy. What establishes him as a hero? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So that's my problem with Titans right now. It started out really strong. I will say this, visually, music-wise, writing-wise, with the exception of the plot holes, the acting and stuff like that.
The dialogue is good.
Yes, yeah. It's just the main story and the way they're getting the characters to jump through hoops.
Well, you know what it is?
Doesn't make any sense.
You know what it is? It's just general rushing, which has been the issue for the other 2 seasons as well. They'll start really well in the first half, because even Titan season 2 starts off decent, and then it falls off after what, like episode 4 or something.
Yeah,
I think episode 4 is where I just took a break from it, or episode 5 because I had 2 dodgy episodes in a row. But then they get to the end, like they get to like with 3 episodes left, and it's like, oh crap, we got to wrap this up, and they rush. And I can tell you, the episode today is rushed, and I spoke to someone who's watched the finale, and apparently the finale is really rushed as well.
Wow.
So it makes you wonder, should Titans be a 15, 16 episode season?
I think it needs a longer season.
Because now it's 3 seasons in a row where they rush the ending.
Look, Titans does the exact opposite of what we complain so much about The Flash and Supergirl and all these other shows, right? So with those shows, we complain about character bloat because it takes away from the main story. Whereas on Titans, it's the opposite. The main story is the only thing they care about. And the side characters, no matter if there's 5, 10, 20 of them, they don't get much of anything because there's not enough episodes. It's like the complete opposite. There needs to be a good balance, and shows like Black Lightning and Superman and Lois, and even Batwoman to a certain degree, with the exception of how I felt about Alice, they do a good job of giving everybody something to actually do. Whereas Titans, sometimes it feels like characters are just not there. They're just not around. It's really, really, really weird.
Like I can say the one thing that I think they did, especially in the back half of this season, is I felt that they gave a lot of even screen time. However, still rushed.
It is.
And it needs to be looked at, because the first 4 episodes of this season, they
were a group between seasons. From the end of season 2 to the beginning of season 3, they were on the West Coast being a superhero team, and we didn't see that.
Yeah, and they're just constantly split up. Like the thing is, I've definitely enjoyed this season more than season 2. Maybe that's why I'm enjoying it more than you. Like, I'm not saying it's a 10 out of 10, but I'd probably give this season like a 7.
I don't think it's awful. There's just
major inconsistencies where you look at it and go,
the show.
Why?
I want them to care as much about the storylines in the show and the plot holes as they do about the costuming and the stunt work, which, by the way, has been really good this season. Like, the fighting scenes are much better this season than they were in the previous seasons. There are changes they made to make it better. I hope that quality with the story elevates in season 4, because I know they're going to get a season 4. It's pretty much guaranteed they're going to get a season 4.
Yeah, they'll probably announce it at Fandom this week. Season 4.
I just want more from the show, because I think the show is very close to being like one of those perfect superhero shows. It's just, excuse me, there's just a little something off about it.
I think they need to, after this season, I think they need to cut the head off. Well, cut Dick. God, out of context. They need to cut Dick off from Gotham. Anything Gotham. If he wants to mention it, 5 years ago, me and Barbara, blah blah blah, whatever. Or if they want to reference to the events of the previous season, that's fine. But I think they need to just cut cut all of this off. And for Jordan Cuttajar, Jeff Johns actually worked on the opening episodes of this season, which are
The best 3 episodes of the season.
there you go. So thank you, Jordan, for that. So I could shove that in. But yeah, thank you, Jordan. But yeah, they I think they need to cut just Titans off from Gotham and any sort of Bat family stuff. They won't. They won't. But in a perfect world where we could get what we wanted, that's what would happen.
I think a lot of people want the Titans Tower and they want to see them facing off against classic Titans villains. That's what they want to see. And that's not what the show is right now. So Jason Todd's dialogue is cringe. I'm not going to disagree with you, Mike. I think I had questions about Jason Todd for a long time,
because I've said this. I think the actor is fine as Jason Todd. I just don't think he's a very good Red Hood.
Yeah.
And I think it comes down to, and we knew this going into the season, they were rushing Red Hood.
Yeah.
Like the fact that Red Hood, when he was even a thing in the season, was crazy. But they obviously wanted the season set in Gotham to feature Red Hood.
You know what? I think a Red Hood storyline done right would have taken an entire season to set up, not 1 or 2 episodes.
Well, you know what's bad? Like, you see the actor on Twitter and stuff talking about Red Hood series and something like that. But I think this season, like, they could, like, without spoiling stuff, like, he's obviously, they're going to redeem him.
Yeah.
They're going to redeem him in some way, shape, or form. But
like, I don't know. I see a lot of questions about Legends 100th episode. Like, I haven't even looked at that news, so I don't know. Let me see what the Legends 100th. Put on like Deadline or something. Let's see. Okay, somehow Martin Stein is back, which Captain Cole. I'm going to guess it's going to be a dream sequence episode or it's going to be some sort of time travel episode. I mean, it is a time travel show, right?
And they are on the Wave Rider, so that confirms they got the Wave Rider back.
So I'm assuming it's going to be something along those lines. And knowing Legends, it'll be very like off the hip type storytelling. It won't really I don't think it's going to line up with anything important. So we'll do Paige's pick next, but I want to say this. I think Doom Patrol for me does what Legends wants to do, but better, because Doom Patrol doesn't care about continuity with the outside world, but Doom Patrol is also on their own Earth. So it makes it a little bit easier to go, well, it doesn't matter because it's their own little pocket thing. Whereas I think Legends with the multiverse, they should have somehow skipped them to another Earth, honestly. That's what I think personally. But I don't know. That's my issue with Legends. If Legends wasn't connected to the other Arrowverse shows, I probably wouldn't have as much to complain about. Because I feel like it's just that the tone on it is so vastly different from the rest of the shows. That's usually what my issue is. But all right. So we're going to momentarily slide over and do Paige's pick.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about the Flash stuff and briefly talk about Stargirl. So what is Paige's pick this week? And what am I getting demonetized on this week?
No, there's no demonetization. This is just my general thoughts. So it's Paige's pick, but more Paige's picking his brain.
Okay.
Thoughts of the week. First, that new Home Alone looks absolutely shite. I can't believe they're remaking it because it looks so bad. It's not even funny. Why is he British but living in America? I don't understand. And like have like a full-on British accent when he, I'm assuming, grew up in America or spent a few years. His accent shouldn't be that thick. It looks terrible. And Home Alone just doesn't work in the 21st century. Like, it just doesn't. Technology is too advanced. I don't know how they're going to make it work. There'd be too many plot holes. Yikes. It looks terrible. Like,
so you will not be seeing it opening night? Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's coming out Disney Plus, and I will on that day watch the normal Home Alone 1 and 2,
and skip that one altogether.
Yeah, I will look at that and go, no, look up the other Home Alone because it looks shite. Looks terrible. Anyway, I'm sorry if you watch that willingly. Please tell me you're doing it for the meme because it looks terrible. Anyway,
who's playing Kevin? Who's the actor playing Kevin?
It's not even Kevin. His name's like Miles or something like that. Or
oh, really?
It's like it's the not the main kid from Jojo Rabbit. It's the other one. He has like glasses and black hair, but yeah, it looks so bad. Anyway, Oh my god, it looks so bad. I actually can't believe how bad it looks. It looks so bad. I think the dislikes is ridiculous. I think it's like 25,000 dislikes, like a few thousand likes. Yeah. Anyway.
Edgy.
Yeah. Remember how I was talking about Five Guys the other week?
Yes.
Apparently the sales have dropped really heavily because it's so expensive. So Five Guys could be bye-bye in Australia within
Already? Didn't they just open?
well, not already, but like they might not last too long.
Oh, okay.
It's very similar to Starbucks. Like there's Starbucks in Australia, but there's hardly any because you just go to a cafe and get a cheaper coffee. Anyway, like the only people that
I'm
go to
actually
Starbucks are-
surprised that the Five Guys is more expensive there because a lot of your meats get exported to other countries. You've got like so much beef production in Australia.
Yeah, because that's the whole thing of Five Guys. It's premium in America because they actually use the fresh ingredients. Like they make stuff in there. It's nothing frozen. So like yeah, I don't know, but it is expensive.
That's weird. Okay.
The rival MC, if you're not pressed, then yikes. You should be pressed over that Home Alone trailer. If you watch that and went, I'll be watching that.
This looks like this is like a Pagey diss track. I support this here. This is good.
Yeah, but Eric, I also caught you picking your nose before the after party, and I didn't reveal that till now. So who's in the mud now? Yeah, R.I.P.
R.I.P. the sponge on the mic there.
Yeah, R.I.P. the dream. R.
This is going to be changing, by the way, for After Party 4.0. It's going to be changing.
Okay,
so.
And finally,
oh wait,
we have some fan art.
Where did this come from?
So this was sent in by I don't know if it's the #1 member of the Eric's Reloaded channel.
Where did this come from?
But Warstu on Twitter, I think his name was. This is some fan art. This is the after party, but Lady Marmalade version. So Eric is.
Well, I love Lil Kim. So
yeah, I think that's why you were made Lil Kim.
Yeah.
Ben is, I think that's Pink.
Yes.
I'm Maya, whatever her name is.
Yeah, Maya.
And we have our guest on the right there. Callum's Corner as Christina Aguilera.
Interesting.
So yeah, great fan art. If you have more fan art,
the one thing is I actually have that same exact outfit that Lil Kim is wearing, and I'm surprised they didn't just use that one for the photo.
Well, I think that's what would have got the stream demonetized.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, this is like the safe for work version.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because if you would have been on Pink, the P on the hat would have worked because then it would have been Pagey. So
yeah, that's true. So
should have put you
that's
on
some criticism.
Yeah.
I think the reason is just because of Ben's love for the artist Pink.
Maybe, but also I love how the attention to detail with Ben, they actually cut his head off where the brim of the hat is. So
yeah, so it actually looks like Ben is wearing the hat. But also I think that might be because I'm pretty sure that photo of Ben, he's got a really horrible haircut. So maybe they were doing Ben a service, that they were doing Ben a favor.
I will say though that I wish they would have colored my hair blonde to go with Lil Kim's wig, because I think that would have been even better. But I would say this is pretty close to a 10 out of 10 just based on talent and concept. So expect the music video coming soon.
Yeah. But yeah, if you have any more
fan art, please be sure to put it on Twitter.
Why is everyone photoshopped except Eric?
Wait, who posted that? Who said that?
Spaceflop.
Oh my gosh. That's pretty funny. Okay, so was that your last hot take there for Pagey's pick?
Well, hot pick, you mean?
Yeah. Exactly. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Stargirl, because my review's already out, your review's already out, but we'll talk about it momentarily. If anybody has any questions, we'll open the floor up for that. And then we'll talk a bit about Armageddon, which I'm really, really excited about. So this week,
don't want to miss a thing. Anyone get that reference?
Stargirl was yes, I did. I got it, but I'm old, so. So this week, Stargirl was titled Summer School Chapter 10.
Oh, I thought it would have been Chapter 2. Okay,
I don't know.
Nice change.
So I saw your review, and you had a completely different opinion of the episode than I did, because I think
what's new.
For me, the best part of the episode was the beginning and the end, like the first 5 or 10 minutes, and then the last 5 or 10 minutes. I think the middle of it was just mid to me.
Well, that's
Like,
what I thought it was very tame. I think that's the word I used, but I still enjoyed the building blocks that it used. But it did feel like they were saving some money
mhm,
because we got these last 3 episodes coming up. Even next week looks like a bit of a money saver, but it's still story
yeah.
based. But then, like, I guess, like, the final episode or 2 is where well, at least we know Jakeem's coming back into it, so they're going to use some
Mhm.
money for Thunderbolt, but
Yeah, so I'm hoping that's the case because this episode, and I even said this in my review, the episode felt like the middle portion was just being dragged on a bit for me. Like it felt like it was trying to fill up time, especially with the conversations with Courtney and Pat, which by the way, I did see a lot of people, we were talking about this on Twitter, me and some of the other fans were talking about it. Some people were defending the way Courtney was acting, and I think it just went too far. It went on for too long. I think her being upset in the beginning was fine. I even think some of the issues in the car were fine, but it got to the point where every single interaction with Pat was her kind of jabbing him for what happened. And he had already expressed remorse for it and apologized for it, and she just kept going on about it. And I just thought like the writers ran out of stuff for Courtney to say. That's what it felt like to me because I just didn't see the point in being so consistently mad. And also, we know how Pat was treated in the past, and she doesn't. So Pat's apprehension to tell her has to deal with the trauma that he felt during the time with the JSA and Eclipso. And Courtney didn't seem to give a shit about that at all. She didn't ask him like she asked him what he did, but she didn't ask him how he felt or how he was treated. It's like she just didn't even care. So for me, I think in this week's episode, Courtney was kind of written extra annoying than what she normally is. Right? I mean, that's kind of how I felt about it. Because we know she can be annoying. We saw that in season 1. It's just kind of her personality. Um, but that was kind of the thing that brought the episode down for me. In saying that, though, an average episode of Stargirl is still better than like 90% of the other shows. So even though it might have been the worst episode of the season, in my opinion, it still wasn't the worst episode of a show ever, you know? And I like the ending with Jenny and the Green Lantern stuff. And when they said that she burnt down a abandoned, was it like a abandoned orphanage is what they said. I was like, yeah, that's probably the place that she was at because she's got trauma from that place. And it made sense. And so they did a really good job with her story. I'm glad to see her back. I think she's excellent. And it was interesting to see her face off against Eclipso at the end, which I thought was really good. And the big reveal at the end was that Courtney gets, absorbed into the Shadowland. What do you think we're going to spend a lot of time there for the next couple episodes, or do you think that
I
it's
think
going to
it'll be
be a
I
quick
I
wrap
think
up?
it'll be a one episode thing. And I was surprised they revealed something in the promo images, which I didn't think, but we meet the new Doctor Midnight next week
Oh,
because they recast him for season 2. Because
so
in season
it's not
1,
the same actor for season 1.
yeah,
Okay,
because in the
got it.
season 1 you see like him get dragged by the shade in the costume, and then you hear his voice throughout it. So they recast him with an actual physical actor.
Mhm,
Um, so yeah, so we meet him in the Shadowlands next week, which I was surprised they put in the promo images. That's
mhm.
not a spoiler because it's in the promo images. So yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm assuming it's that. But I am curious whether Doctor Midnight gets out with them, or Doctor Midnighter, I guess, because Beth's Doctor Midnight now. But
Mhm.
yeah, I'm curious to see what happens there. Whether he stays behind, maybe he sacrificed himself because there's nothing left for him on the outside world. But
Right.
not too
Because
sure.
he's been stuck in there for a really long time. So, Cal with 190 super chat and a Team Eric member. When will the staff be fixed? I know this is probably a spoiler. Did the promo images show the staff being used at all, or no? Because I have a feeling it
Well,
won't
she's
be
in the
fixed until
Shadowlands
Courtney gets out of the Shadowlands, right? So
because the
I'm
staff got
assuming
left
it'll be
behind.
right. So I'm assuming it won't be fixed until she gets out. So we'll probably have another episode where the staff is not working, most likely.
Well, it technically works. It's just not
It's
working
weakened. It's
100%.
like
Yeah.
weak or whatever. But there's that. Um, so Cody says if she was lied to, I'd act the same way. But here's the thing, though, Pat. Parents don't tell kids stuff all the time to prevent them from getting hurt. His reason for not telling her about this was because as a parent, he perceived that that was the best course of action. He realized now that it wasn't, and he apologized for it. Her continuance to be upset about it, like where was this energy when Mike had to deal with the death of Icicle? Because yeah, Yolanda is dealing with what happened with her and Brainwave, but where was this energy for Mike and Icicle? Where was that at? It's just nowhere to be found. It's an inconsistent amount of anger from the character that the writers just sort of directed at Pat. So I think that she's absolutely allowed to be upset, but Pat also had a reason for doing what he did. And to totally take Courtney's side in this is to completely dismiss the trauma that Pat went through, which was a lot. So I think you have to look at it from both perspectives, at least in my opinion. Let's see. There's another one here. Where is it at? Where is it at? I missed it. I missed the question. All right. Staggervoort with the 49 super chat. I can't help but mention in the first scene, Pat was dressed like Ed from Ed and Eddie. Well, you know, I mean, I've heard that in Where's Waldo, obviously, because of the suit and whatnot. I want to bring this up. I was actually going to talk about this in a moment, but I want to bring this up now. At the beginning, it did say decades ago, right? When it was talking about Starman and Pat in the but Pat looks exactly the same as he did decades ago. Are we supposed to just imagine that he was younger, or?
But he also looked the same in like the 1940s.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, what is going on with the timeline on the show? Like, something. I
think they use. I think it's a bit of an edgy topic, but it's a special face cream.
Oh, is it? Okay, well, maybe. I feel like that's the one thing taking me out of it a little bit, because I want to know what the timeline thing is.
But the thing, I love how they just go decades ago. They don't say in 1972 or whatever it is.
Well, yeah, because they haven't established exactly what year the show is in. We don't know if it's in the 90s, if it's in the 2000s. We don't really know. But yeah, it's a little jarring when you're like, you're trying to connect the dots to what time all of this happened. And oh, this is funny. Pat is related to Paul Rudd. I mean, maybe, possibly. Anyway, I
must say though, speaking of Luke Wilson, I thought this was probably one of his better performances as Pat in this episode. I thought he was really good as Pat in this week.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but you're right. I think it was. And I think, honestly, this was even, because I didn't think we would get another flashback with him and Starman, but we get to see even more context for.
Well, I think at this point, Joel McHale's just there. Because he's meant to be in the last couple of episodes, or like he's meant to be towards the end of the season. So I guess he's just there.
How would you make Pat look younger? I don't know. Cast a younger actor to play him in flashbacks. I mean, they do that on all the other shows. So, I mean, that's what I would do. But it is what it is. It is funny. Didn't Starman tell Pat that he is who he is because of Pat? Like, wasn't that kind of the vibe you got from the conversation, that he's a better person because of Stripesy? I think is what he was saying.
Well, that's the thing. That opening scene does like a 180 on how you leave episode 9.
Yeah.
Like episode 9, you go, oh my God, Starman's an asshole. And how's it going to be like when he comes back in the present day? But then you watch that scene following those scenes.
Right.
And you're like, oh, okay, well, it's fine because I think it's more of like Starman has like a power trip around the other JSA members because he's meant to be like the leader of sorts.
Yeah.
But he's like a different person around Pat. But it still makes you go, well, he shouldn't still be treating Pat like that around everyone else. It's like when you have like an old friend and you have this new group of friends, and all of a sudden, like the old friend's like the butt of the joke or something like that.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, eventually that old friend's going to get the shits and leave you.
Yeah. So the reverse here, this was what I was thinking, is what if they were displaced by like a couple decades? That would make a lot of sense, actually.
Well, in the comics, it's like there's multiple things that happen with the JSA. Like the one based, if we're going off like the Stars and Stripes, sort of that era of the JSA, they literally get displaced in various points in time, and then they get brought to a certain point in the present.
Right.
So they go like searching for them. It's very much like that Legends episode. You know that Legends episode when like Ray's stuck with the dinosaurs.
Oh yeah. Like
it's very much 3. Like that. Yeah, like Sarah's with like the Salem witches and stuff like that. It's very similar to that.
Right. Very that. All right, so that's, if you have any more questions about Stargirl, you can keep asking, and we're going to try and move along a little bit. And I could talk about Supergirl, but I mean, my review for Supergirl is ready to go. It'll be up tomorrow. Supergirl is just full of problems at the moment. There's just really no way to fix the show. This week's episode was even more of the nonsense, and the primary story was about Kelly and Alex adopting are fostering that child.
So not
That
about
was the
Supergirl again?
well, the Supergirl story was the secondary story. The primary story was the one with Alex and Kelly and the child. Like how the JS don't think Starman will have to save them in the finale. I don't know. Maybe. Stripe C is immortal with the 199 super chat from Mike Glenn. Well, we know the shade is because he lied to get his powers back, which by the way I thought was really cool the way that all worked out. Yeah, so this week's Supergirl, the main story was Kelly, Alex, and Esme fostering this child, and the secondary story, completely disconnected from that one, is Supergirl and the Super Friends dealing with a global catastrophe, basically. Completely disconnected stories. Just didn't make much sense at all. And although I do love the stuff with Alex and Kelly because I think that they're going to get a happy ending this season, which I think is good. It just didn't fit with the episode. It just felt out of place for me. And also it didn't even feel like Supergirl, to be honest. Because they're dealing, so I believe, because Supergirl likes its bigger stories. I believe that the stuff with Kelly and Alex dealing with Esme was about like when parents have kids that come out, they kick them out of the house sometimes. They don't accept them for who they are. I think that's the story they were trying to tell with Alex and Kelly and Esme because of what happened during the episode. I mean, I'm assuming that's where they were going. It's what it felt like. And the stuff with Supergirl and Super Friends was dealing with globalism versus nationalism and when to get involved, when not to get involved. So it was two very different stories kind of smushed together. So it didn't really work for me. And I will say this. Let's talk. I want to talk briefly about the totem situation. So this is a spoiler for Supergirl. But if you want to know my entire thoughts, the video will be up tomorrow. So get ready for that. It's like a big 20-minute video or something. Anyway, get ready for that. But so Supergirl is having a dilemma in this episode because of the fact that it's Corto Maltese and Cosnia are fighting with each other, and they're on the verge of like attacking each other, basically, with like weapons. And they're at a meeting where John is there, telepathically blocking the effects of a totem on the leaders from that country because they're not able to really debate. They're kind of basically out of their minds because of being affected by a totem. So he's telepathically trying to block that so they can have a conversation. And the moderator asked John to sort of tame them enough so that they will sign the peace treaty. Because if they don't, there's going to be war, basically. So he's like, I don't want to do that because I feel like that's too much interference. And then I'm thinking like, but don't you guys interfere all the time? Like he's like in this episode, when they finally launch missiles in the episode, they fly up and stop the missiles. So you're still interfering. If you wanted to detach yourself from all government decisions around the world, you wouldn't interfere even if a missile was launched.
Yeah. By the way, they just revealed the dumbest letter in the alphabet.
What's that?
U.
Is that a dad joke? Good one. Kramer has the same powers as Alex's foster child. Yes, yeah, they do have the same powers, except Kramer is metas and Alex is Esme is aliens, apparently. But so yeah, they choose when to interfere, which is my issue with it. Like, if you're gonna write a story about them staying out of government issues, then they have to be completely devoid of it. You can't. What's the difference in stopping them before or stopping them after? There's no difference except it allows you to write the story, which I think is the problem. Supergirl is bogged down by its messaging and it affects their storytelling. So that's just one of the problems in the episode. There's a lot of problems in the episode. Watch my review tomorrow. It's going to be a big deal. Like it's everything that you probably want from me when it comes to Supergirl. So
yeah.
Hello, Robert. Welcome to the stream.
Also, did you like why did William Shatner's lingerie company fail?
He had a lingerie company?
Yeah, it failed because apparently Shatner panties just never caught on.
Oh my gosh. I was gonna say. Tim with a $5 super chat. Why was the sling from David an actual slingshot? Was it taken from Dennis the Menace archives? Have you watched Supergirl at all this season?
I've watched. I think I watched up to episode maybe like 9 or 10, maybe.
Mhm.
Definitely haven't watched the past few weeks.
I will say this, that Tim, to respond to this by asking you a question, why is every totem in the entire galaxy on Earth? That's the better question, because we still haven't determined why that is. So the totem could be a lollipop. It could be the golden ticket for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It could be absolutely anything at this point. It doesn't matter, because the show just doesn't care anymore. So there we go. Don't feel bad for Melissa. The state of the show is because everyone on the show seems to think this is what everybody wants. So I think every single person involved with Supergirl is okay with where it is right now. So don't feel bad at all. All right, let's talk a little bit about Armageddon, and Canada Graphs is here. I'm surprised he's leaving because I was about to share a couple pictures of his. If you go over to his blog, most of you already seen this already. But if you go over to his blog, you will see.
Also,
go ahead.
They actually revealed what ghosts put in bras.
Oh, here we go. Boobies.
Yeah, you got it. Boobies.
Yeah. There's a ton of pictures. I'm only going to show 2 of them here. This is on Canada Graph's blog, though.
That must have been an Eric style joke for you to get.
It was, because I knew that one. It looks like we are going to get the gold boots. It's been almost a week now. I feel like these aren't big spoilers. It's been all over social media. I think every person's clickbaited it in their videos at this point. So
it's not clickbait. He's got gold boots there.
Did I hit a nerve with that one?
I'm defending Ben here.
Are you? Okay. Everything he does is clickbait, which, by the way, he said he was going to show up. I'm waiting around for him.
That was clickbait.
He said he was going to be here. That was clickbait. You're right. So he does get some fault there. So anyway, this is from the set. Canada Graph, since you're here, what day of filming was this? Or Paige, do you know which day of filming this was? Is this the end of the crossover, or
it's the end of the world?
Yeah, so as you can see, I'll show one more photo here.
You didn't finish the lyric, Eric. That's really disappointing.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get.
Oh, what a loser! He's wearing a mask.
Yeah. These boots.
Get vaccinated.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think these boots look bad with the suit? Because I've seen a few people say that they think that now they want the red boots back. I like these boots with the suit.
I like them. You could argue that maybe like the detailing, the other details on the suits could be that, but like it's a different material on the boots. Like the boots have to be like that boot material. The thing is, people will find a reason to complain about everything or anything. Yeah. Like it's 2021. Like people are going to complain about anything.
Yeah.
So like honestly, I think is anyone complaining about this? It's a how would you say Okblay Aune?
You know, after seeing the Reverse Flash suit and then seeing this, it makes sense that they went with the gold boots because they did the red boots for the Reverse Flash suit. So I think it made a lot of sense to me. I don't really have many theories on this, but I will say that I think either it's something that Despero does, or because Ryan Choi is there with the team, he comes up with an upgrade for the suit, and the gold boots are part of that upgrade.
It wouldn't surprise me too much if it's that last bit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So pretty happy about that. I think it looks good. I'm curious what the chat thinks. You guys think it is hot or not? Let's go with the
hot or not. What is
hot or not? The gold boots, hot or not?
We in 10th grade.
So yeah. I also want to show there's a little clip here we have, because I always say it's good to see them in motion. And here from the Mascara Bound on Twitter, there's a picture of it, and it looks great. And it looks even better here than it does in photos. The boots make the rest of the suit pop, in my opinion.
Well, you know what's cool? I wonder what the visual effects will look like. Like the streak, maybe, like when he's running fast, will look like with the gold boots now.
Yeah.
Also, what do you call a typo on a tombstone? A grave mistake.
I was gonna say it's got to be something grave. Anyway, but yeah, this looks really good to me. I'm excited for it. So yeah, the boot needs wings. I mean, maybe.
No, just leave them as it is. That you wouldn't be able to see them. It'd be pointless. You'd be
Yeah,
asking like, they need little thunderbolts on them as well. Like you wouldn't be able to see them.
yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the next reveal. This is a reveal that's a little bit newer. It's going to be the reveal of Despero, not the CGI, but Tony Curran as the character. So if you haven't seen Entertainment Weekly, this is your warning. Here we go. So this is obviously Despero from the comics, but this is not the look they're going for, at least not in the beginning. But here is a shot of Despero and the Flash. This is pre the gold boots, so he still has the red boots here. So I'm guessing this is very early on in their meeting, and it looks like he's going to look human, at least from what we can tell, because it doesn't seem to be any kind of face tracking on him or anything like that. So I'm guessing he's going to have a human form. What do you think of this design here, pre VFX of Despero?
Well, I think you might. I don't know if you have the same suit as the VFX thing, but I think it looks cool. I think it looks fine. And I think they said in the interview that there's like a reason for it or something in the story, which I'd prefer. I'd rather them just, at least as long as he is that VFX thing for something. But like the thing is that if he was the VFX thing the entire time, even this was like a multi-million, hundreds of $1 million budget movie, it'd be like, how can this alien walk around and not get caught and constantly seen? So if he can be this human size and do everything like that, then I think that actually makes more sense story-wise. But I'm very curious to see how the event plays out, because you've got all these guest stars coming in. It seems like there's time travel, but then it seems like the guest stars are only there for like an episode. I think the only character, maybe Ryan Choi, is in multiple episodes, but I think Alex Danvers is the only other one that's been confirmed in multiple episodes. That's a guest star. That's like from one of the other shows.
Right.
Like Damien Dark and Earbite Thorne, might be in other episodes, but I think Alex Danvers might be the only one that's been confirmed. I think.
I will say, for this not being one of their typical super suits, it looks really well done, especially the chest plate. It looks very like detailed. I will say that the Eggo waffle coat looks a little weird.
Eggo waffle, eh?
Yeah, that's what it looks like a little bit, but I still like it.
I call it Hollywood Squares.
Oh, maybe. So
is that a boomer reference?
Maybe might even be worse than that. Aren't aliens common knowledge on Earth Prime? Yeah, they are, but I mean, he would be an alien that they've never.
But yeah, but it's not like you're just like they're walking down the street going to get a coffee. Like,
right,
it still needs some sort of cover.
I mean, we've seen on Supergirl that aliens are still discriminated against, so it makes sense that there would be, you'd have to hide.
And also, if the USA is such a wonderful country and it's so good, why did they make the USB?
You just got a whole list of them today or whatever. Cody, how can we talk about how a child knew Carl was Supergirl? I know, but then Nixley didn't. Like, okay, sure, I guess that is true. But I think there's one more photo here. Yeah, right there. There's the suit without Flash next to him. I like the gauntlets. I think the gauntlets are cool. The jacket or the coat still reminds me, the Trent still reminds me of an Eggo. I don't know why. But it is. But Tony's a great actor, so I'm expecting he's going to do a really good job on this. So pretty excited about that. Canadagraph says, I told you last stream, Paige has been storing these up since you stopped doing them and finally couldn't handle it. And this is dropping them randomly now. So yeah, the fingernails. Yeah, he's got dark fingernails in the photos as well. I'm assuming because Despero is going to have like long, sharp, dark fingernails.
I thought it was just because he was feeling a bit
spicy, maybe, possibly. Anyway, this is like the 10-minute warning before we wrap up the stream. And if you guys have any last minute super chats to support the channel or any questions, let me know. A couple updates. So I've started production on all of the shows for November. I've already reached out to a lot of content creators for the content creator binge battle, and I have a few people ready to go. Paigey doesn't know what episode we're going to be discussing. He's going to be on it, but I haven't told him what episode we're going to be talking about. So that should be a lot of fun.
I have my theories.
Well, it's going to be a great one, put it that way. Those are going to be fun, and those are going to start the first week of November. So content creator binge battle. Also, the Doesn't Hold Up will come back the first week in November. And then the first episode of the History of the Arrowverse will be the second week in November. We're going to do some watch alongs, but we have to find shows that are on Netflix. So edgy. I will let you guys know when that's going to happen. The members only stream will probably be tomorrow. So, because we were going to do a members only chat for the watch along. That didn't happen. So the members only stream will be tomorrow. And what that means is it'll be members only chat. So it'll be a 30-minute stream. Everyone can watch and hang out, but it's a members only chat because it is a perk for Team Eric members. So, you can check the community tab for that and let you know when that goes live. Live.
By the way, a snake. So that's just this random snake. He walked into a bar and the bartender gets up and goes, "How'd you do that?"
Yeah.
All I ever think about it.
I get it. I get the joke. It's just as a dad joke. So anyway, look out for that. All the content. Like actually, I have a couple of the intros done already, so that's pretty exciting, and they're going to be a lot of fun. The History of the Arrowverse intro is going to be crazy. And the one for Does It Hold Up is really funny. So I hope everybody's ready for that. And Zoko, go back to the very beginning of the stream.
So I had a Ouija board. And I asked the Ouija board what the meaning of life was. And its reply was STAYINALIVE. So I've got to take the freaking thing back because I've ended up with a BG board.
That is a boomer joke because I guarantee most of the chat did not get that. Most of the chat did not get that. All the new videos that you guys have been waiting on will be released in November. I'm doing all of them in the background right now. So everything that's been discussed that hasn't come out now will come out in November. October is a month where I'm doing all the work, getting everything finished.
What do you call a beach ball in the snow?
A snowball?
A beach ball, you idiot. It's still a beach ball.
Oh my gosh.
Seriously, Eric.
Always.
What do you call a British Cheez-It? A cheese in it?
Oh my gosh. That's awful. Awful, I tell you. Anyway, so once again, Team Eric members, watch the community tab for the members only chat tomorrow. And everyone else will be able to watch. So if you want to watch, stop in and have a watch, and we'll have fun and join up if you want to participate in the chat. That's it. Yeah.
There was this really famous quote that just came out. Some people might want to get it tattooed on them. Some people might just want to put it on the beginning of a notebook or something like that. But the quote is, "Sometimes all it takes to clear your mind is a car ride." That quote coming from John F. Kennedy.
Oh my God. That's too edgy. That's it. We're out of here. That was the last joke of the evening. So we'll catch you guys next week. Look forward to it. See you then.
Edgy.
Bye.